Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I haven't done one of these videos in a while, but it is Caleb's Critique Corner, and I got a submission from Briam767. I might be pronouncing that wrong, so my apologies ahead of time. But this is some footage that they sent me back when it was the Ultra League and Spring Cup rotation, and I'm just holding on to footage until Ultra League is back in rotation. Now that it is back, going to provide some critique for Briam, and then anyone that's watching, maybe they can learn something, or they might want to run this team themselves. If anyone else is curious about this is free feedback, and I've coached people for PvP since 2019 all the way till now. So I've coached tons of people, probably a couple hundred at this point, and obviously maybe not everyone becomes a world champ overnight or anything like that, but I like to think that some of the plays that I look at, I can provide feedback, and anyone that sees anything that I might have missed, feel free to correct me as well if I say anything wrong in the comments down below. And if you want to submit your own footage, be sure to shoot me a message at Peng, just my username, and I have the link down in the description as well on X/Twitter. Shoot me a DM, record 2 full sets back to back, and I will review it for you. So that being said, let's get down into this specific team from Briam. It's a Skeledirge, a Whimsicott, and a Lokix for Ultra League. Pretty spicy team, I gotta say. And something I haven't seen any of the footage yet, but something I always caution people is when they do run a specific team in a meta, sometimes even the best players in the world just can't make a team good because the Pokemon itself used might not be very good in a specific meta, right? So looking at these 3 Pokemon, Skeledirge is ranked 24th overall, which is solid, right? Definitely very viable. Lokix is 124, which is not as viable, but it could be okay, right? 124 is not something out of the question. And the Whimsicott is 270. Whimsicott's the one I'm most concerned about because I haven't run one myself. I'm pretty sure this is one that, yeah, even at best buddy, 100% IVs is 2304. And that's assuming it's a best buddy level 51 at 100% IV. So roughly, you're going to be 200 to more than 200 CP points combat power below all the other Pokemon you face in Ultra League. And not to say that CP means everything, but it does mean you're missing out on a lot of stats that other Pokemon that can replace that role may be able to cover better. So I haven't seen any of the footage, so let's get into it and let's see if the rankings are of concern or not, or maybe Briam plays it really well. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. All right, let's take a look at this footage and see how Briam plays out. Right off the bat, this is game number 1. Skeledirge into the Cradily. Not a bad matchup. Maybe trying to catch a move here. I don't know. Okay, so I probably wouldn't shield. Oh, actually, no. It is super effective. I guess this is actually not the most ideal matchup. Because the main thing is, like... So here's my thing, right? You don't want to take super effective damage on your Skeledirge, which is totally valid. You don't really want to take out the Lokix either. But because Briam didn't swap right away to Lokix, Cradily had extra energy. And you still have to shield the rock tomb. So I think one way I would play that out differently is I'd stay in with Skeledirge, maybe throw a move to chip it down, or just let it go, right? Just get hit by the Rock Tomb. It's a little bit bulkier than a Lokix, at least, to my knowledge, so you can at least tank the move. Or even if you're going to shield it, shield the Skeledirge, then bring in Lokix. The reason why I say that is because now you at least clear the debuff, because now you come in Lokix is nerfed, right? Damage has been nerfed, and you still have to spend a shield, so you're doing a little bit less damage in general. And so now the next Rock Tomb goes through. Going to be a lot of damage, unfortunately. And then they end up catching on Jellicent. Really good catch from the opponent right here. I did take a look at the elo at this point in time. But like I said, this was from like 2 weeks ago. So Briam's elo might be a little bit higher as well. I think it was like Ace maybe? Maybe Veteran? If I'm not mistaken. Okay, now comes in Whimsicott. So I guess my question for Briam, something to think about, is why bring in the Pokemon and then swap back out, right? Because now you're locked in here. And your switch arm is going to be misaligned, which means that let's say if they have a hard counter Whimsicott in the back, let's say like a Registeel. you know, completely resist all the moves, they can bring it in and you're locked in, right? Which is much worse. So I think at this point too, like, especially if you're trying to catch something, I don't know, just bring in the Whimsicott right away if that's the case, right? Getting because you're throwing resisted Incinerate and they're getting super effective Hex off against your Skelders. The longer you're in that matchup, the worse it is for you. Much better just to come in with this. Also, oh yeah, they do have something that walls this off. I would also go Grass Knot there. It's a little bit cheaper and it's super effective. So just something to think about. Moonblast is definitely the way to go here. It's all resisted, unfortunately, but you could combo play. I do like this a lot. Probably could. I would even farm extra here. You end up getting Incinerate through, which is nice. Unless you have Payback, they're not going to be able to throw anything that's super effective or even non-resisted at you. So that's good. I probably would have thrown the Shadow Ball right away. It's easy to just like lose track of counts there. But if you throw the Shadow Ball right away, you win Charge Attack priority, and then you could probably take out the Credilli. So you probably win that one. Yeah, because the Credilli can't Bullet Seed you down, right? So then you have the energy to throw a move there. So a few things worth fixing right there, but we'll keep going and see how it goes. All right. In comes the Feraligatr. Looks like they went straight for the Hydro Cannon, even. Maybe I miscounted. I don't know. But I also don't know in this matchup. Maybe a Hydro Cannon already puts us in a tough position. Oh, I guess Hydro Cannon is also resist. It's only neutral because I was thinking initially that you know, it's the bug typing, but that's actually not quite the case. My screen's a little bit like zoomed in here. Whoops. All right. Let's see what happens here. We get the shield. Okay. All right, that's actually really good. They come in Primeape. I probably come in Skeldurge here. I mean, obviously both at play, but the thing is they swapped out. Yeah, I can see like trying to go for a catch again, but I wouldn't. Don't get too fancy with it. I think you're right. Just stay in here. You win this matchup anyway, right? Especially shields down. So just do what you can. This is a fine swap. I think this is a fine swap, especially because they're staying in, which means that they're probably a little bit weak to Skeldurge in the back. Yeah, they're quite weak actually. The unfortunate part is this Whimsicott's very weak into the Galarian Weezing. I do see the utility of Whimsicott right here, right? Because you can't have Weezing in the back and then you're just like as another fairy type, because then you're just super weak to Mud Slappers. Okay, we get this off. The timing is good there on the Torch Song, but I think you're just gonna be short. Yeah, a little bit short there. I think part of that symptomatically is also Lokix, maybe not the best swap there. I probably bring in the Whimsicott instead into the Feraligatr. You're grass type, you're gonna resist that water gun. Oh, that water damage at least. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, you definitely have to stay in here. Double weak to poison in the back's not gonna appreciate this. Unfortunately, yeah, I can see trying to go for a swap as well too. It's also very hard to swap when you're using the longer term duration move, right? Okay, they actually swap over too as well, which is kind of okay, I guess. This kind of is not an ideal matchup because Ancient Power does a lot. Again, I personally think there's better options to Lokix in Ultra League. Same thing for Whimsicott, but let's see how it goes. There might be a matchup I just don't really fully know either because I've never even used Lokix. I've seen it, I've gone against it, and I've lost against it too, right, at times. But this could easily be a Brave Bird, which is why it's probably worth shielding. Okay. Oh, it's a good catch, I guess. But Skull does a lot of damage here, so maybe not the most ideal. I'd probably go for the Shadow Ball here. Yeah, it's unlikely to shield at that point. You get this off, which is nice. But I think, honestly, it might be even better to let that go and just farm down. Because now they get a free move through here. Ooh, this is going to hurt. Alright, you have to watch out for the catch, too. But this is going to be charging up energy pretty quickly. Yeah. Okay. Oh. I mean, that was the right play, though, trying to fairy wind down. You can't, like, throw a move at that point. But I probably, in that very end game scenario, just let the Tentacruel take out the Skeldurge, and then you get a slight energy lead. I think you, unfortunately, still lose that, but... Okay, well, this is a good matchup, actually. I think almost completely walled this off, right? Ground, Dragon, Dark moves. Yeah, I think... I mean, this is really one of the positive moments of Whimsicott. Great optimization there on the timing there, throwing 4 Fairy Wind, then throwing. And you can just farm this down. This is looking really good, though. Obviously, I don't know how many Zygarde you see, but yeah, this is a great answer. Oh, wait, what happened there? What in the world happened? That was super weird. Hold on. Let me get back to it. Sorry about that. It just like... I don't think I even touched my phone. I don't know what happened. Alright. So let's get back to this part. Sorry for that. All right, in comes Bulldoze. If this goes again, I'll be super confused. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, it looks like they just like lag out. What was their lead again? I think they ended up lagging out here. Or they just gave up. Huh. Okay. That's fine. So they came back in with a Alolan Sandslash, and then in comes the Skeldurge. You have the Lokix in the back. I probably wouldn't even pivot out there because the Alolan Sandslash is really strong, right? If anything, I would pivot out to the Lokix. Obviously, they lag out, so it's what it is. Because you kind of need the Skeldurge for the Alolan Sandslash. Both your other Pokemon are pretty bad into it. But I get like wanting to save some of the health on the Whimsicott and not wanting to get farmed down there. So I think if you really are committed to pivoting out there, which I don't think is a bad play, you go to the Lokix. Because you need the Skeldurge for later, right? Alright, looks like the opponent just lagged out. Alright, so they lag out, and it is what it is. But probably was going to be a win either way for Seabrium. I don't know if their game registered a win or not, though. That's the real question. This is kind of an awkward spot to be in. You take a lot of neutral damage, whereas you're only doing resisted Incinerate, and it's just very slow. Oh, they don't shield. What the heck? Alright, this is a good swap, though. I don't know if there's too much you could do with the Skeldurge at this point, but I don't hate this shield either. Let's see what happens. Okay. This is fine, I guess. Trailblaze, gonna boost up that damage a bit. Not really worth shielding anything here. And then you just... Oh, interesting. I don't hate this shield either, honestly. I mean, you probably survived that, but you grab shields off the Feraligatr. It might not be a bad idea to just go Exeter. It's almost very unlikely they don't shield this, right? I'd probably still throw that move. Because now they can throw Ice Beam at you, and that's going to do a lot of damage. And I don't know if you win the Charge Attack priority or not. See, because this is where it gets weird. If they farm you down here, it gets very dicey. I guess you come in, try to go for a Peekaboo, but you have to wait out this timer a bit. I probably would have waited the timer fully. I think you still win this because you're closer to the move. Oh, no. Yeah, so I wait out the timer there, and I'd also just stay in. Lokix. Force them to throw the energy. You swap into a Feraligatr with a shield up, and still with that much energy, it puts you in a really tough position. This is a really tough lead. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe you should swap to Lokix. Okay, that's actually a really good catch, actually. I like that. You expend some of that energy, but they could also just Dragon Breath you down pretty quickly. This is worth shielding, I think. Just to force their hand a bit. Okay. Good catch by them, I think. Not sure if that was a catch or not, but yeah, definitely want to throw the Trailblaze if you can. Getting off another Extra is fine, though. Maybe it was probably worth... Might be a little bit more damage. It's hard to say. It's actually a good chunk of damage. That's really tough. If it's Crunch, okay. I was like, if it's Crunch, you're in a bad spot. Ooh. Okay. Whoa. Alright, they hard pivot to Gashadon. It's really hard to avoid catches here with the Skeldurge, which is totally understandable. Alright, you should be able to core break him in the back, so this actually looks pretty good overall. Good over farming here as well. I mean, if they shield this, they're in a really bad spot. Okay. So they have a lot of health left. You have some energy too. That's really good. And then I think the Dragonite already fainted out? No, it's still there. Yeah. Okay. This is actually a little bit uncomfortable though. Yeah, you just go for fast attacks. You won't be able to get to... it's probably worth throwing the move now. Maybe not. Yeah, that's fine. That was well played. I think Dragonite leads are pretty tough, but I do like to catch on Lokix there to help save that bit. I think the last game, unfortunately, looked like it lagged out for Seabrium, even though that probably should have been a win. Alright, good lead overall. Pretty much can't shield the first one, right? And then you just Torch Song after, I guess. Good timing as well, too. I don't know if it's coincidental or not, but if not, really good timing. Good optimization and timing of moves is really important. That and learning to count moves. Those are like the two most basic things for any PvPer. Oh, this is really good because you're super ramped up. Did they get to another move? I don't think so, right? Oh, that's huge. That's a lot of energy. It's hard to find anything that resists all this energy too. Oh my gosh, what? Oh, they catch on the Florges. I mean, that's fine though. That's still a pretty solid move to throw out the Florges. Oh, good catch. All right, so there's a Shadow Ball loaded. The problem here is that you're going to get walled off here. So you kind of have to bank on winning Charge Attack priority. These are good catches, right? But sometimes it is tough, right? I mean, if you don't catch there, also you probably get taken out. So it is what it is. I would wait the timer there a bit. Because... oh, well, they just blind me through. Which makes sense. Oh, okay. I like it. Wait the timer, and then you can make this calm play, right? Do it in the middle of the Incinerate. That was a really good play, though. Really, really well played. Yeah, my only critique there is just wait out the timer a bit. But you played it well. What the heck? Mud Slapper? Yeah. I mean, either way, it's Mud Slap or Rock Throw or whatever. You don't really want to get hit by anything there. Have to shield a potential Rock move, which is understandable. Ancient Power. Good timing. Yeah, really good timing here. Okay. 1, 2. I don't hate this. X's I probably prefer more, unless you're playing on double shielding here. I mean, maybe. Okay. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter too much. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, this is worth shielding because you have a lot of play into the sorry about the dogs, into the Credilli too. It looks like they just foregoed the Hydro Cannon there. Grassland's a choice, but I think it's solid though. I mean, it looks like he's doing a ton of damage. You could probably even go Moonblast here. Maybe it's better to go... oh, okay. Try to go for the catch. Unfortunately not there, but they're going to dump their energy. If they throw a double Rock Tomb though, you're kind of in trouble. Oh, they don't. Okay, they don't have it, I guess. I don't know. Now you're in a good spot. I think Credilli wins Charge Attack priority though, which is the problem. So if they have another move, you kind of lose. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, I think that's for the most part pretty well played too. I don't even hate the Trailblaze there because your Sucker Punch is doing more damage, and if you don't get both moves off, you don't plan on shielding, then like it's not too bad, right? All right, fantastic lead. They might try to go for a catch. They don't. Good timing again. All right. Oh, it's really good. Probably just let this go. Yeah, because you just survived one Brutal Swing. Honestly, this set and the first set look like completely different players. Like, you're playing this, like, much better, too. I mean, maybe the first set just has some tough matchups. I don't know. Yeah, this is tough, right? You can tell you're going for, see Brian's going for the optimization, which is definitely good. But at a certain point, too, you kind of need to throw into these two-turners because they just, like, get moves off way too fast. Okay, I like to swap. I forgot. Lokix actually completely walls us off. So it makes sense, actually. All right, we draw the Typhlosion, which is nice. Ooh, this damage is kind of crazy. All right, you have the Torch Song. I probably just throw it instantly here, just to boost your damage. Yeah, I probably just throw it right away because you can't optimize here, right? So, and you're not going to Charge Attack priority there. Ooh, that's tough. And this is where you probably want C-Bomb, but yeah, I think if you just throw that move, then you're in a much better position, right? Because you can tank a Shadow Ball, and then you can throw stuff, right? So sometimes, like, well, you can't optimize 5-turn to 5-turn anyway, so you just throw the move, right? It's going to be enough to take it out or put it in a reasonable Fairy Wind range, or you grab their shield. Either way, I think it's a much better position to be in, right? Okay. Oh, they just quit out. All right. We'll take those. Glycopod is pretty annoying. I probably swap out here. This is a fine swap. If they have, I probably swap out right away though, because this thing like gets some moves pretty quickly. Okay, well that's actually pretty solid though. All right. It's funny how you counter swapped into a Guzzlord last game, and now they're bringing a Guzzlord into you. I probably just come in and just Fairy Wind this down. It's not really worth. Yeah, really nice. It's not really worth staying in with the Skelders. You're gonna take way too much damage. But this is much better. And you get a lot of energy here, and you have stuff throughout the Glycopod, so that can't come in very easily. The Glycopod also dumped this energy, and you have a shield advantage, so it's looking pretty good. Okay, really good, really good. And if they catch here, that's fine too. I probably go Shadow Ball here. It's unlikely they shield the Cresselia, but I guess boosting your damage should be fine. Ooh, that's like a full Incinerate that went through. That's really nice. Yeah, there's no way they outpace you. You're doing way too much damage just from Torch Song. They shield this, is over. They don't shield this, is also over. Yeah, it's over. There's no way they gets 2 moves. Yeah, I know. Your Incinerate went through. Really nice. My suggestion is just throw the Shadow Ball right away. Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, it's a Confusion Cresselia too. What the heck? That's honestly a little bit better, but nice. Okay. Thanks for definitely picking up for sure. Again, I don't know if I love the Whimsicott, but Wow, okay. Ending it on a 5-4-1. Really nice. 1-4 to 4-1. Very good jump. Honestly, not even that. Okay, here, that's just starting from the beginning again. Not even that, but I'd say something that I really thought was well executed by C. Brian was knowing like what to counter swap. Just a huge difference between set 1 and 2. Honestly, like it just didn't look like even the same person. Obviously, one of the games was lagged out in set 1. What I liked a lot more about set 2 is that there was less attempts to just randomly try to catch stuff, right? Like, I think it was part of it is, you know, when this is what I always recommend when people play Go Battle League for rotations. As long as you have a decent team, just run that same team the entire week or the 2 weeks or whatever, right? Unless there's a huge meta shift or something, which there rarely is in the middle of a rotation, just stick with the same team because you'll learn how to play every matchup like the ins and outs of them really well if you do that, right? So like the second time you face a Credility lead, it might look different, right? Because you pick up on things from the first time, right? And you play around. Like sometimes when I get hard countered, I want to run it back, right? I want to face someone that runs the same exact team so I can figure out if there really is a win con or if I can play a little bit better and just get a little bit closer to win, right? And obviously, your opponents can also make mistakes between one player to another, or even if it's the same person you rematch, they could play it differently too. So I do think that maybe part of that, doing better in the second set, is part of that. Also, you can always make the argument that once you lose a set, then you're facing easier opponents, quote unquote, because your elo's lower, so then you're gonna have an advantage just skill wise. But I do think that C. Brian played really well in that second set, like good optimization. There's a few moments where maybe greeting for a few plays. Like I think that even the one game that they lost, they could just won that by throwing the torch song against Typhlosion. So I think my biggest feedback, 2 points, is one, try to know like exactly what you're doing in all the matchups, right? It seemed like at least in the first set was a little bit unsure about maybe like, should I swap here? Should I stay and try to go for a catch, stuff like that. Especially if you're in a bad lead matchup and you swap to something that's not a great matchup, going for a catch there is a little tough, like the Credility in that first game, because you're not in, like the Stoner is really going to do super effective damage to you, right? And then if you swap to a Lokix to try to catch a move, they're going to throw a Rock Tomb anyway. And Lokix is not going to appreciate the Rock Tomb, right? Well, you really want to Credility on the Whimsicott. So if you plan to swap, I would just swap right away. Or, like I said earlier, you can stay in, shield the Rock Tomb or tank one, then swap and clear the debuff as well, right? But you don't want to swap into any debuff Pokemon that can debuff you and then just make your life like really tough, even in that specific matchup, even if they don't swap out. And then the second thing I would recommend is really good optimization, but don't let the optimization, don't get too carried away with it, right? Even I do this on a regular basis, so like it's a lot of really good players do, is you get so into optimizing that you start losing track of how much energy they have, and then you end up having to like shield moves you wouldn't have shielded if you just threw a move earlier, right? Sometimes it's better just to not optimize and throw the move if you can avoid you having to spend a shield, or if it could force them to spend a shield first. Obviously, do it with caution, right? Don't let a full Incinerate come through and stuff like that. But this is typically when you're using a long-term duration move like the 5-turn Incinerate, right? If you're using a long-term duration move, it's much better sometimes to not optimize and just go for the move. It's so much easier to optimize when you're the short-term duration move because you could play around them much more easily. Overall, really solid gameplay. I don't know if I'm fully convinced by the Lokix and Whimsicott, but there are definitely moments where they look pretty solid. And I don't think this team is terrible by any means, and I think some people might be able to do pretty well with it. Maybe I'll give it a shot myself, who knows. I'll think about it, because I don't know if I have the Whimsicott, but I do have all the other things that I could build, so maybe we'll give it a shot. Anyway, shout out again to C. Brian for the footage, really solid battles, and if you would like to be featured in Caleb's Critique Corner and get some feedback on maybe why you might be struggling or not climbing as much, or etc., shoot me a DM at on Twitter at Caleb Peng /X, X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and record 2 footage back to back, just like what C. Brian did. Send them to me, put them in a Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever. I'll download it, give you some feedback, and hopefully it'll help you improve. And if not, then you come at me in the comments. I don't know what to say. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch you all next time. Peace.